Mortal herbs. Let's see. How will you play Big Brother to the Shrek 7 monsters? How will you face the Spirit Halls hunt? Next, I should head to the Suachuo City Great Soul Arena to see those so-called monsters. Suachuo City Great Soul Arena. A meat grinder for soul masters. A cash machine for the strong. The air always reeked of sweat, blood, and cheap incense mixed into a cloying sweetness. For ordinary soul masters, this was a place to win fame. But for me, it was a massive energy dump. Every time a match ended, the arena floor was left with scattered, ownerless soul power. I sat in the darkest corner of the stands, my right hand hidden beneath my black robe. The chaos world-breaking hammer's phantom flickered, and the silver lines on my palm, like straws, silently devoured the dissipating energy. Tastes awful, I muttered to myself. This soul power, refined and then shattered by soul masters, was as bland as dishwater, but at least there was plenty of it. Just then, from the secondary arena below, came a deafening roar of cheers. Shrek 7 monsters. The Shrek 7 monsters again. I looked up. 7 youths in strange Shrek masks descended the arena steps like stars around the moon. The leader, with golden hair flowing, his heterochromatic eyes flashing with wild, arrogant ferocity, was none other than the stray dog of the Star Luo Empire. Dai Mubai. Behind him, a youth of balanced build, with steady steps, was calmly putting away his blue-silver grass. Even through his mask, I can also sense from him that faint, elusive gloom. It's the Tang San who grew irritable. After his external cheat was destroyed and the profound heaven sect stagnated. Without the nourishment of immortal herbs, Tang San is now only around level 33. His skin no longer has that crystalline luster from the original story. Instead, it shows a greenish pallor of overexerted potential. Boss Dai, these opponents are too weak. No fun at all. Behind Dai Mubai, a fat man, Ma Hongjun, was wiping sweat, while shouting arrogantly, a chumpy H in Zuachuo City, who doesn't know the might of our Shrek. Dai Mubai snorted coldly, his gaze falling on a few commoner soul masters blocking the exit. His eyes turned icy. Get lost, don't block this young master's way. Those commoner soul masters were the ones who had just lost their matches. Already injured, they were a bit slow to move, and Dai Mubai directly activated his martial soul. White tiger possession. Dai Mubai's body swelled violently, his claws extending. 3 soul rings rose in succession. His heavy tiger paw swept fiercely. He intended to send those people flying. This wasn't a soul duel. It was pure bullying. Tang San stood to the side, hands in his pockets, not stopping it, not saying a word. This was his so-called neutrality. As long as his own interests weren't touched, even if his companions killed and burned, he'd just see it as their enemy's own fault. I sat up high, and suddenly the energy broth in my hand tasted utterly bland. I stood up. I didn't take the stairs. The shadow beneath me twisted eerily. I simply pierced through 10 meters of physical distance, appearing instantly before those commoner soul masters, right in the path of Dai Mubai's tiger paw. Bang! Dai Mubai's strike, strong enough to shatter blue stone, slammed heavily into a barely visible spatial barrier. I didn't even raise a hand. The recoil force made Dai Mubai grunt, stumbling back 3 steps, leaving deep footprints on the ground. Who are you? Dai Mubai's pupils shrank, his gaze murderous as he stared at me. Tang Sin also stopped. His hand instinctively went to the 24 bridges on his waist. Moonlit Night, purple demon eye activated instantly, trying to see through my loose black robe. Shrek lives up to its reputation. I pulled off my hood, revealing a face strikingly similar to Tang San's, yet cold as ice. I looked at those terrified commoner soul masters and said calmly, "Go. This place has not only monsters, but also plenty of beasts." Tang Jiu. Tang San's cry carried 3 parts disbelief, 3 parts fear, and 4 parts thick killing intent. He stared at me intently, though I hadn't revealed my martial soul. The profound aura from devouring the ice and fire origins exuded a depth that gave him an unprecedented sense of pressure. Zio-san, is this your useless little brother? Dai Mubai rubbed his numb wrist, his eyes full of ferocity. Looks like Zio Chenyu's incident didn't teach you a lesson. How dare you meddle in my affairs? Cripple him. Yu Zai-Agang's voice came from the stands above. That grandmaster stood with his hands behind his back, his face dark as he looked at me. In his eyes, this anomaly out of my control, perhaps even more talented than Tang San, must be eliminated. Tang San didn't move. He was assessing the risk. But Dai Mubai couldn't hold back. He thought that as a level 37 battle so venerable, being knocked back earlier was just carelessness. White Tiger's blazing light wave. Dai Mubai opened his massive maw, and a scorching golden orb of light burst forth, sealing off all my escape routes. I stood still, watching that golden light. He let out a cold laugh. With that, I raised my right hand. Chaos Fragment Hammer. A faint shadow flickered, instinctively pulled a short crossbow from his chest. That light wave, enough to shatter rock, as it approached within a meter of me, seemed to crash into a funhouse mirror. Space twisted eerily. The light wave traced a ridiculous arc, and actually rebounded straight back, slamming heavily into Dai Mubai's chest. Whoosh! Dai Mubai screamed in pain, his face scorched black by his own soul skill, falling to the ground in disgrace. Boss Shrek, the crowd gasped. Xiao Jiu, you've gone too far. Tang Sen finally found an excuse to act. His eyes turned icy. He stepped with ghost shadow, his elusive form splitting into 3 afterimages. His right hand, the jade hand, gleamed white as jade, reaching straight for my throat. He didn't use his spirit. He thought his Tang sect techniques were enough to subdue a heretic like me. Still so hypocritical. Tang San, I didn't even move. The moment Tang San's fingers were about to touch my skin, I activated the Ice Fire Body Tempering, and the domain trait awakened afterward. Arctic Jade, centered on me, the air within a 5-meter radius instantly dropped to 100 degrees below zero. Tang San's movements in that instant became visibly stiff. His prized jade hand was actually coated in a layer of pale blue ice crystals. How is that possible? My soul power flow is frozen. Tang Sen recoiled in shock. At the same time, he flicked his left hand. 3 bone-piercing nails shot toward my brow. With a shrill, tearing sound, still playing with these scraps, I gripped the cloth-wrapped shard in my right hand. Chaos energy surging. A decaying, gray-black mist instantly spread. The 3 iron shards Tang Sen had fired. The moment they entered the mist, eerily lost all their momentum, clattering to the ground with a jingle, their surfaces instantly covered in red rust, as if they had corroded for decades in an instant. Not only that, Tang San and the Shrek group trying to help behind him all felt their soul power drain wildly. Their legs gave way, and they all dropped to one knee in unison. What soul skill is this? The gray, decaying heavy hammer. No fluctuation. Yu Xiaogang on the platform watched, teeth grinding in fury. His theoretical knowledge shattered completely in that moment. I picked up the hammer and walked slowly, deliberately to Tang San. I used the hammerhead to lift his chin. What you pride yourself on, in my eyes, is worse than garbage. I looked down at him and asked word by word, was that so-called herb garden fun? Tang Sen's pupils shrank sharply. His voice trembled. It was you. You destroyed my opportunity. I gave a cold smile. I just took back what was never yours. Want to kill me? Go get stronger. Brother, I waved my hand casually. A spatial rift opened. Under the terrified and hateful gaze of the Shrek group, I slowly faded into the darkness. Next time I see you, I'll snap your 8 spider lances one by one. The night wind outside the Grand Seoul Arena blew cold. The prosperity of Suochuo City seemed glaringly harsh in that moment. The instant I stepped into the spatial rift and vanished, I clearly saw Tang San's bloodshot eyes, rage, terror, and the hysteria of having his destiny stolen. He screamed into the wind, Xiao Jiu, you really deserve to die. Hear that? This is the so-called God King's bandit logic. Steal his opportunity, slap his face, and that's the greatest evil in the world. Thus came his famous line, a path to death that will echo through the ages. But now, he's almost lost the right to even meet my gaze. I teleported to an abandoned temple west of Suochuo City. The moment I landed, the backlash from forcibly crossing ranks to activate the Icefire inner force could no longer be suppressed. I coughed up a mouthful of blue and dread-clotted blood. Forcibly suppressing the entire Shrek team was a heavy burden on a body not yet at the spirit ancestor level. The strain was immense. At that moment, the chaotic fragment hammer in my seat of consciousness pulsed wildly. I had just absorbed Dai Mubai's White Tiger origin by 30% and devoured Tang San's Xuanshan sect inner force. These chaotic energies raced madly through the cracks in the hammer's shaft. I sat cross